everybody, it's Mirelle Inglefield with Phoenix Magazine. We're here at the Musical Instrument Museum, affectionately also known as the MIM, to interview the new artistic director, Andrew Walesch, and also find out what he's got in store for the upcoming 2023 summer concert series. Yeah, let's just dive right in. How are you doing today, Andrew?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. It's really nice to meet you in person.
Well, it's good to meet you too. Welcome. Welcome to the MIM Theater.
Now, have you been here during the summer? And I'm sure you get asked that a lot.
Yes, of course. That's the first thing that everybody says is, well, just wait, because I constantly am talking about how beautiful the weather here is, because as you alluded to, in Minnesota, it's not so beautiful right now. And we get such a short window in Minnesota of nice weather, and then comes the humidity and the mosquitoes. And so, I love the heat. I don't mind hot weather at all. So I'm a little bit nervous because so many people have told me that first summer is kind of the shock, and then the second summer is not so bad.
You answered my second question, so thank you for your efficiency there, sir. How are you going to pick the artists that you'll decide to book here at the MIM?
Well, the incredible thing about the MIM Theater is that what Lowell Pickett, the outgoing artistic director, has done here in the curation of the calendar is so unique. Not only is the music so diverse, we have basically every kind of music under the sun coming through here, but also we have a huge array of artists, both more up and coming and very established. It's a place where quality is paramount, and where really our motto is kind of, if the music is great, you'll probably find it here at the MIM Theater. The inspiration behind the programming also, in large part, has to do with the fact that MIM is the world's only global instrument museum, and we really try to be reflective of that here in the theater. So we bring in artists from all over the world, all different cultures and countries. We have an incredible singer, Fatoumata Diawara from Mali, coming in a couple weeks. She's been here before as well. And there's really not a whole lot of other places here in the Valley where you can experience music literally from all over the world. When the museum first opened, this space was kind of originally going to be more for events that were more kind of cultural, maybe dance, some music, some performance, educational, which we still have a lot of those different kinds of events going on here. But the idea was never to have a calendar programming quite as ambitious as it is now. We have nearly 30 shows in the month of March, and probably close to that in April. Wow. We're going to be doing almost 300 shows this year. That was not, when this theater was built, that was not in the cards necessarily. And so Lowell's the one that really started introducing some of the greatest artists in the world to this room, and they all fell in love with it, and it's just sort of spread. Everybody knows all over the world about this room, the intimacy of it, the comfortability of it, the acoustics, everything is so top-notch that word has gotten around, and people come from all over the world to play this room.
You are basically an all-around music man. You can sing, you can play the piano, you compose, you arrange, and you also entertain. You've played at the Lincoln Center in New York City, which for somebody like me, a little po-bunk like me, it's pretty impressive that you've done that. Are there any places, any venues that you've yet to play that are on your bucket list?
I kind of think of myself as a performer out of the classic American nightclub model, from my heroes in the 50s and 60s, Ella Fitzgerald, Mel Torme, all these great performers. They were amazing artists and worked theaters like this and huge stadiums, but I like to entertain in smaller, more intimate rooms. The answer to your question is not for me necessarily. I mean, of course, what performer wouldn't want to play at, say, Carnegie Hall or some of the great concert halls in the world. Of course, I would love that. But I love to play small rooms, theaters, nightclubs, because again, there's a way of entertaining that my heroes perfected, connecting with an audience with the music in a simple way. And again, that brings me back to this space, because that's what we do here. We do have lighting designers on every show, and they do an incredible job. And part of why their work is so wonderful is that it's so tasteful. Mm-hmm. It doesn't interfere with the show. It doesn't overwhelm the show. It augments the show, and it really supports whatever the artist is trying to convey song to song.
What was your first concert or musical experience where you really felt the magic of music?
One really pivotal moment that stands out in my life, I grew up singing. I started singing at the age of 4, and I was in a boys' choir, which was an extremely influential experience for me. It really instilled a love of music in me. And when I went to New Orleans when I was a young man, I think I was a kid, I was probably 10 or 11 years old with the boys' choir. We went to a gospel church, and we were invited to perform there. It was a black church. It was B3 organ. It was an incredibly powerful choir, and I just went, "What is this?" And that was when I really started to make the connection between jazz and African American music, and realized that, oh, that's the foundation of this music. It comes out of that community and that culture.
I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Who would be your dream musical collaborator?
Years ago, I was in New York, and I happened to run into one of my heroes on the street, and I followed him into a little Italian restaurant, and I got a table nearby, and I waited until he finished dinner, and I said, I know that you don't like to be bothered in public, because I had read a New York Times article about how this gentleman goes to Central Park and paints, because he's a wonderful artist, and nobody bothers him, and that's what he loves about living in New York. I said, I know you don't like to be bothered in public, but it would just mean the world to me to be able to sit and chat with you. And that was Tony Bennett.
Oh my goodness.
Now Tony is unfortunately not performing anymore, but there's so many wonderful artists around today that, of course, I would love to collaborate with. I love Jamie Cullum. Jamie Cullum is just an incredibly inventive, and he's a songwriter, he's a pianist, he's a singer. That would be fun to do something with him.
Do you have a favorite Beatle?
Well,
Just out of curiosity.
I love Paul McCartney. I mean, it's difficult to even imagine a person that has contributed more to music than Paul McCartney, ever. Yeah. And he's still around, and he's still making music. He recorded an album of American songbook material, which I thought was wonderful.
Wow, I didn't even know
jazz
that.
kind of stuff. Diana Krall was on that record, and
oh, cool.
yeah, and he has a love and a fondness for so many different kinds of music, and he's shared that with all of humanity, and he's a gift. He's a gift to all of us.
I'm dying to know, what are some of the shows coming up for the summer concert series?
Well, we have an amazing lineup to share, and as I think we were talking about, we have a preview event coming up for our members on March 23rd, and Lowell, the outgoing artistic director, and I are going to spend about at least an hour or more discussing all that we've been working on. Our summer concert series starts in May and goes through August We have all kinds of music from all different genres. You know, there's really something for everyone here, and we encourage people to visit our website, mim.org, and check out the wonderful lineup of concerts. As I said, April's jam-packed with music. We have, I think, almost 30 concerts in April.
One a
so,
day?
Yeah, it's
Or one a night?
yeah, pretty much. So it's quite a Herculean effort here. It's a very robust calendar, and our team does such a beautiful job, not only, you know, producing these shows, but making sure that every guest that walks in has a memorable, enjoyable experience.
In your interview, you mentioned the food scene, the Phoenix food scene.
Yes.
Have you tried Bianco yet?
I have not been to Bianco. Do I need to
God,
try?
Yeah, you absolutely. Are you a pizza fan?
Yes.
Okay, so you got to go to Pizzeria Bianco, and they have a restaurant. He has a restaurant called Trotto. It's a very, you know, dimly lit, European style, more like intimate date night type of place, and they
Yeah.
serve like pasta, chicken. Whew, it's my favorite restaurant in the valley. So
Well, I'm
yeah.
gonna go check that out. Have you been to this newer restaurant right on Scottsdale Road called Americano?
No, but I've heard about it. I've heard really good things about it.
It's
on my
sensational.
list.
I whenever people are in town, I always say, let's go to Americano, and then I think, you know, should probably switch it up and try some new places, because there's so many places that I haven't tried yet here.
Yeah.
And thank you. Thanks again. It was so great to meet you. Come and see us more often.